Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we are going to be playing another premiere draft of Innistrad Midnight Hunt, the flashback draft format for the week. Without further ado, let's get into the draft where we will finally draft a green deck. We're finally going to draft something outside of the blue, black, and white color trio, the best colors in the set, because while green and red are the weaker colors in the set by far, there are still some very strong rares in the set that can push you into the color, particularly Tovolar's Huntmaster being one of the strongest rares in the entire set. It's a 6 mana 6/6 that comes with two 2/2s as the worst case scenario. If it's nighttime, you also get to have your creatures fight your opponent's stuff all the time, or you also get to spit out more wolves every time it attacks at night. So Huntmaster is a ridiculously strong card, one of the very few reasons to try to draft a green deck, but Huntmaster is certainly worth trying. Pick number 2, I have gone pretty far down on Mask of Griselbrand lately. The mana investment of playing and re-equipping it is kind of rough in a format that has as much removal spells as this one. Bunch of really efficient removal in a lot of different colors. So I don't think the Mask of Griselbrand actually ends up playing super great in comparison to just taking an excellent removal spell like Eaten Alive here. I think those are the two cards in contention the most, which is pretty awkward considering either one we take, we're sending a huge signal for black to the player on our left, but it is what it is. If the players on our right are going to send massive black signals to us, then maybe they aren't taking the black cards. There's only one pack or one pick down here, but both of these cards are first pickable, the Mask and the Eaten Alive. I do feel that the Eaten Alive is the better pick, though. From recent experience, I've beaten a lot of Mask of Griselbrands in these drafts lately. Pick number 3, we see Lunarch Veteran in white, one of white's best commons, because it comes back from grave really quickly, and flying is a great ability in the format, so that's a great card, but Eccentric Farmer is also quite good. We do want to take the good green cards when we see them, because there's not a ton of them. So get a pretty premium green common to go with our Huntmaster here. I guess technically it could accidentally mill the Huntmaster, but particularly if we play green-black, but in a lot of color pairs, there are ways to prevent that, ways to bring back cards from our grave anyway. So I think I'm going to go Eccentric Farmer here and really stay glued to green. When we see a very solid green card in the pack, we're going to take it. Pick number 4, Foul Play is a card that has gone far up in my pick order since last draft. I thought that the fact that it would only destroy creatures power 2 or less would make it pretty narrow, and it does make it more narrow than usual, but when it blows up something important, it is still a very good deal, and with the best colors in the format being blue, black, and white, those are colors that have a lot of smaller, really good kind of synergy creatures, rather than like a ton of really good bomb rares. So if your opponent has their 3 mana 2/2 flyer that comes with a Decayed Zombie, blowing up a 2/2 flyer with Foul Play is great. If they have a Morbid Opportunist that draws a card every time something dies, that's a 1/3, killing that for 2 mana is great. There's tons of creatures like that that just have really good abilities but are still pretty small, and Foul Play is beautiful at getting those out of there. Dreadhound is an excellent finisher. That'd be a fun one for green-black, but we've also already started with an excellent finisher with Huntmaster. We can't take too many top-end cards. I don't think we really need a second one this early in the draft, as fine as that would be. Rather kind of take the Olivia's Midnight Ambush here and really get locked in on that removal, have 3 removal spells. Eccentric Farmer's good too, of course. I don't know if I can quite take that over Midnight Ambush, though. But I am happy to say we're seeing enough black cards get passed from the right that certainly during pack 1 and pack 3, we can load up on black spells. We sent enough black signals to the left, maybe pack 2, these players take a bunch of black and hopefully stay off of green. So I'm going to try the plan of like get a bunch of black here, pack 1 and pack 3, scoop up all our green in pack 2. We'll see if that pans out for us. Now a Bat Whisperer is fine filler. Yep, that's the best card on color out of all this stuff, and the off-color stuff is just not exciting. Ecstatic Awakener here, pick 7. Green-black's probably the weakest color pair for Ecstatic Awakener because green has the least expendable tokens to sacrifice, but Bat Whisperer works, and there's other black spells we can get to create tokens for it. I'm certainly not taking Timberland Guide or Path to the Festival over it. It's just part of that thing of the pretty wide gap in power level in terms of the commons between the colors. There's literally no green commons I think I'd take over Ecstatic Awakener. Maybe I would take Eccentric Farmer over it just because it's not the greatest in this color pair. That's the only common that I could think of that would come close to Ecstatic Awakener out of green. There's so many cards like Bramble Armor and stuff. It's just like, all right, whatever. What do we want here? I'll just take a Mystic Skull in case we splash in. I think we're deep enough into both colors to be pretty committed here. Technically, I'm not that deep into green, but it's hard to be that deep into green in the first place. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could take a white spell and have like black-white as a backup plan. That's probably the best plan trying to win, but our trophy run streak has ended. We have a ridiculously good win rate in this format no matter what. I don't care too much about going full try hard on this and just having like a pivot to black-white or blue-black in the back here. Let's actually play a different archetype this time, no matter how the draft goes from here. We are not playing blue-black or black-white, because that's all I've played so far. Novice Occultist, Arrogant Outlaw are fine here. I think Arrogant Outlaw is usually a little bit better as a creature, but Novice Occultist might be better in a green-black deck that needs ways to sack cards to Awakener and doesn't really have much to sack to it yet. Timberland Guide would be an okay card to sack to Awakener. I mean, turn 1 Awakener, turn 2 Timberland Guide onto the Awakener is probably fine. Cut some really mediocre green cards here. And see what we open up in pack number 2. Come on, green rare. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, man. I want to play something different, and then I open up an incredible black-white rare and the mythic blue common to end up in blue-black again or white-black again as where I'm supposed to be. The green cards suck. There isn't even a great black card here. There's Crawl from the Cellar. That's decent and helps our Eccentric Farmer be a little better. That's kind of obnoxious. Open up a pack. What are the good cards? The 2 decks you've already played a lot. Black, white, and blue, black. Those are the good cards. I'm not splashing in a double white card, and I am not playing the same archetype. I'm putting my foot on the ground here and taking my stand. I'm taking Crawl from the Cellar, and we are playing Golgari today. Eccentric Farmer again. Solid stuff. Slogurk is more splashable, requires a single blue. We've also got a random black werewolf. Seize the Storm for the fun blue-red deck, but we can't pivot to that. I've got a Mystic Skull already. For my Prophetic Prism splashing. And we can play Path to the Festival if need be. Sure. We'll play the Slogurk here. We'll go some Sultai Mill shenanigans. Outland Liberator is the strongest card in the pack, so we're happy to see that. 2 mana, 2/2 Naturalize on a stick. This card's really good at night, because then it naturalizes, destroys an artifact or enchantment every time it attacks. Still need some more cheap cards on curve, so I'll take the 2 mana 3/1 over a second Bat Whisper. I mean, that's pretty close. I only have 1 4-drop still. I could take the Bat Whisper. We expect to wheel reasonable 2-drops like Pestilent Wolf, even if we don't take Sentry. Yeah, I'll actually take Bat Whisper. Second Path to the Festival if we need to do more splashing. Another Eccentric Farmer, although now Shadow Beast sighting is good. The Eccentric Farmer mills too. Pretty close. I think I'm just going to load up on farmers. They're all great with Slogurk. We have Eaten Alive, Foul Play, Midnight Ambush. Got triple removal right now. Like to get towards like 6-ist removal. I have Mystic Skull and Double Path. I don't need to take another path here. We'll take Silverbolt over Vampire Interloper or a third path. There we go. Reasonable 2-drops. Sentry or Pestilent Wolf. Take the Sentry for higher stats up front, and our deck actually looks pretty good at triggering the Coven. We have 1 power creatures. We have 2 power creatures. We have 3 power creatures. We got a lot of each. Some 4s as well. Well, if nothing else, staying locked in on our colors here has gotten us a full 23 card deck moving into pack 3. We just get to cut one card at a time and keep the deck rolling. Probably this random combat trick. I don't think Ghoulish Procession is going to be any good in Golgari. It's more of a black-white kind of sack card. Another 2-drop with a Pestilent Wolf. Yeah, we'll cut these mid non-creature spells. It looks like we have a lot more non-creatures than anything else currently. Another pack with like a great card for an archetype we're just definitely not in. Bramble Armor, Howl the Hunt, Baneblade Scoundrel, and Morkrut Behemoth is probably Baneblade Scoundrel. I mean, honestly, I think Baneblade Scoundrel's fillery enough. It's just like a solid attacker. It doesn't do any like extra value plays or anything like that. It's just like, here's a little bit of beef. I think that's filler enough to just take Evolving Wilds for the blue Slogurk. Augur of Autumn. Let's go, baby. Card draw engine. 3 mana, 2/3 that plays lands off the top no matter what. And if we have Coven, so if we have 3 different powers of creatures, we can also play creatures off the top and then really cast a bunch of nonsense. Take the Augur of Autumn. Get a black rare Champion of the Perished. I don't even have that much zombies, though. Blue-black player is going to be so happy to see this go this late, because I think we're more of a Hound Tamer deck. Just a reasonable mana sink. I never thought I was going to be drafting black in this set and not wanting Champion of the Perished, but this deck doesn't want it. We have literally no zombies except 1 or 2 Decayed tokens. So, Hound Tamer it is. Now we take an Eaten Alive. We are still certainly looking for more removal. And I played Moonsilver Key to get blue as well, but I have Skull, Double Path, Evolving Wilds. The paths can get milled off of Eccentric Farmers, so those are better synergy there. I don't think the Moonsilver Key has great synergy for a way to splash in Slogurk. I'm really unlikely to play a second Wolf, though. Could still just take it. I don't think we're a Blade Brand deck. I'm going to take the Wolf over Key. I don't think I'll end up playing either of those cards, though. Pick 6 is nothing. Take a draw spell. Pick 7. Hello, Rise of the Ants. This is a wonderful Rise of the Ants deck. 6 mana for 2 3/3s and gain 2. This card was a pretty excellent way to stabilize and take over a late game, if I remember right. It's really good with all these Eccentric Farmers to make sure we keep hitting our lands, but then also to maybe mill it over for flashback. This is going to be a sick Rise of the Ants deck. I'm really happy to see that, actually. I'll take a Harvest-Tide Sentry here over a second Mystic Skull. We got Evolving Wilds Double Path. I might not even play the first. We will not be playing any of these cards, or these, or probably anything from the rest of the draft. Yeah, we'll rare draft an uncommon this time. I guess I might play No Way Out. No, there's no world I'm ending up with 2 No Way Outs in this deck. This deck just doesn't have that many ways to really care about the Decayed Zombies. Okay. Alright, first things first, cut a bunch of creatures, I imagine. We're at 19 creatures right now. Alright, I'm just going to cut Mystic Skull first. We have Double Path and Evolving Wilds and a bunch of Eccentric Farmers, so anytime we mill an Evolving Wilds or Island, we can pick it up. Even if we don't mill it off of the first Eccentric Farmer, these cards actually play to where the second copy can pick up any land from your grave. It doesn't have to be, like a lot of these other cards, it doesn't have to be one that you milled off of that copy. It's just if it's already in your grave, then you can pick it up with the second copy. So we can definitely get blue, I think, especially if we play 2 islands, but I might only need 1 if I keep both paths in here alongside Evolving Wilds Island and triple Farmer. So really don't think we need Mystic Skull. We've got a lot of 2-drops then, so cut some of those. Probably Occultist because it only plays well with Awakener, and then maybe some Wolves. I like how Timberland Guide plays with Harvest-Tide Sentry, a 4/2 that's hard to block, and then also how it plays with Awakener. So I think this synergizes with 4 of our cards versus Occultist really only synergizing with Awakener. Then we cut some threes. Honestly, all of our threes look really good, so I might only cut Bounding Wolf there. I don't want to cut any farmers. Hound Tamer's a great mana sink. And then Augur and Slogurk are fun rares. I think those are the cuts, right? That would be cutting 4 creatures. Still a 15 creature deck. Plus a Rise of the Ants, so that's a 16 creature deck, actually. If we count that as another top-end creature, which it is only creatures, so yes, it's a creature. Looks good to me. And then we just need to cut 2 non-creature cards. I think this deck cares less about the hand disruption and the decayed zombies, so No Way Out doesn't look important here. I am definitely not cutting Crawl from the Cellar in a triple eccentric farmer deck. So maybe Silverbolt after that? Because after No Way Out, there's not a lot of room to cut stuff. I mean, I could cut one of our Path to the Festivals. We only have 4 removal spells if I cut Silverbolts. But it is difficult to cut a Path to the Festival here. I guess I probably can cut one. We only have a single card that needs blue. Let's cut 1 Path and 1 No Way Out. Keep 5 removal spells in here. I think I'm going down to 1 island still anyway. Wilds or island, if they ever get seen off of farmer, they grab blue. If Path ever gets seen, if Path ever gets milled. Yeah, if we ever draw or mill Evolving Wilds or island, then we have our blue source, which means there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards that help do that. And then we can play more green because we're so deep into that color by the end of this draft. 8-7-1 with an Evolving Wilds. Okay. Very different deck this time around. A little bit forced off of the Tovolar's Huntmaster. I was like, you know what? We're forcing green so that we can play a different archetype. We're finally going to do it. And here we are, a heavy green self-mill deck with a bunch of farmers to get up to that high mana for Huntmaster. Consistently, we have a Crawl from the Cellar if we mill the Huntmaster. We got Rise of the Ants is another good top-end card that also flashes back from grave if we mill it. And a Slogurk to keep beefing up as we do all this mill. Looks like a pretty fun deck. It could even curve out aggressively if we're lucky with all these Harvest-Tide sentries. So, should be very fun to see how this one plays out, and at the very least be a very different deck this time around. Without further ado, let's hop into the gameplay, see how far this one takes us. Here we are on the plate for game number 1. I specifically cut an island to have 9 green sources and a Terramorphic, and here we are. We might have to mulligan. I mean, I can't even cast Eaten Alive, so if I don't draw the right card, I don't do anything until 4. Yeah, we have to mulligan. Much better hand, but we'll be down a card here, which is sad. But we will keep this one. Ditch a land. Eccentric Farmer is guaranteed to draw land because Evolving Wilds will be in our grave. Even if we mill 0 lands off of it, we can pick up Evolving Wilds. That was another good reason to take Evolving Wilds as highly as we did later in the draft. Mono black so far from our opponent. They lead with Vampire Interloper. We don't hit the 4th land, so we'll farm her to try to get it. We get Evolving Wilds at worst. We get an untapped green source. I'll take that instead. I do need double black for Eaten Alive, but I would like to be able to run out the 4-drop Bat Whisperer next turn. And that also gives me an expendable token for the Eaten Alive if we don't want to play the full, or pay the full 5. Black-red, so actually a full-on Vampires deck from our opponent here. I think we've played against 1 black-red deck so far, and it was it was in one of our trophy run blue-black decks. It might have even been the undefeated one, so it wasn't much of a game. Luckily, we have drawn the 2nd black source. Bat Whisperer is just a cruel, cruel card against Vampire Interloper. Just the 1/1 token it provides. Deletes Vampire Interloper. Voldaren Ambusher. It triggers after attacks though, right? If we lost life, not attacks. So they have to damage us, and then if they had damage us, then when they play this, it would shoot one of our creatures down. But we have this commanding board state where they're not going to be able to damage us for a very long time, so they're just going to get their stats down there. Not a spot our opponent wants to be in. And speaking of spots our opponent does not want to be in. Second Bat Whisperer here is going to be quite cruel. Neonates rush the bat and draw a card to get in with the Interloper that can't block anyway. It's 4 mana to get counters from Hound Tamer, so I won't be able to do it immediately, so we just run out both creatures, unless we're worried they're going to board wipe us, which is possible. They could have Meathook Massacre or the deal 5 to everybody, but it's a rare and a mythic. I think we just run things out here. The burn down the house, the red board wipe is 5 damage to everybody, but it requires double red, which they don't have. At least not yet. Famished Foragers to get the triple red to play another creature, which is going to be the Ardent Elementalist, picking up an instant or sorcery from grave, grab the Neonate's Rush. Got the Eaten Alive here, but it's really not necessary. Put a +1/+1 counter on one creature. I've got Coven, so they can't block the 3/1 with the 2/1 already. Yeah, we already have good attacks. We can send everybody but the Tamer in. I could send in the Tamer too, but then Tamer trades into Foragers, and I'm not happy. But if we attack like this, they have no good blocks anywhere. And then we can pass through and it'll be nighttime, and that makes the Tamer even better. We're in a matchup where we could justify holding on to extra lands to play around No Way Out, making us discard 2. Neonate's Rush on the Sentry's pretty good. Oh no. Well, we found our Eaten Alive target. The top X cards are rising the total life your opponent's lost. Exile 1, you can play it this turn. Yeah. That's not good. Let's just kill that. They have 4 damage on the crackback. Let's send in 4 here. We put them to 4. Voldaren Stinger. First strike on attacks, and you can dump a bunch of mana into it. So pretty scary at this point. They could triple buff it. 7 power attack. I guess not quite. They can only double buff it. Eccentric Farmer pre-crawl from the cellar to see if we get anything better, or do I crawl from the cellar for like a Bat Whisper to play right now? I think it's Eccentric Farmer. Well, Bat Whisper against the Interloper. We're down to 8 now. Crawl from the cellar or Bat Whisper does seem pretty legit. But I've already got the Bat if I'm scared. They have no good blocks if I just Hound Tamer. Yeah, let's... I mean, they're nearly dead on board to just attacking with both. And I Hound Tamer and I force... Yeah, we're at 8 here. They have to block or throw a removal spell at Hound Tamer. And they have to double block too, because if they single block, I trample over and put them to 1, which means that I could just put 1/+1/+1 counter on the Tamer to kill them. I don't have the Arrogant Outlaw engraved, do I? No, I don't remember if I got one in this deck. Probably not. Yep, they're forced into a double block, and then we just play a farmer. Alright, they still kill the Tamer, but they go to 1. So if they can't deal an extra 6 damage to us somehow, we kill them next turn. There's ways to do it. There's a fireball. There's a fireball in the set at rare. They can just deal 6 to my face. Immolation our flyer. They don't have a blocker for Eccentric Farmer though, so that's lethal too. There's the blocker. So Chump Block Farmer is going to be the play. Do I have any flyers for Crawl from the Cellar or Reach Creatures? I do not. Let's Eccentric Farmer and see if we find one. I don't think I have any natural flyers or Reach Creatures though. Got a Tovolar's Huntmaster, which I will not have the mana to recast immediately anyway. We just need to pick up something immediately castable. 5 mana or less creature. I'll just grab the Hound Tamer and then save the flashback, so if something happens where they somehow don't die next turn, I can still flashback and play a Tovolar's Huntmaster. Or a Bat Whisper. Okay. That is game. That's going to be 1-0 to start us off, heading into game 2. Mono green opening hand, but that's what Eccentric Farmer's for. Keep this, and we're playing against a green deck, and we immediately draw a Swamp. Actually, not a particularly good draw here. Technically, it gets us to our second color, but it is a 5th land in a hand that has another way to draw a land, so it's kind of like a 6th land. And then this forest is literally a 6th land, which is kind of like a 7th land. So we'll start off with a little bit of Flood here against green-red. Green-red, of course, being the Werewolf's color pair. It's interesting we just immediately end up playing against so much more green than I remember in the previous drafts when we're playing a green deck. It's pretty cute. Contortionist Troop, just a 2/2 until they get Coven. Eccentric Farmer copy number 1, we drew a second copy. Somehow, when I finally want a land to be on top, after drawing 3 lands in a row, I play Eccentric Farmer and mill 3 spells. And that is the way of life. At least 2 of them have flashback, but that's because we built our deck well. And we have 4 or 5 flashbackers in here. We got Rise Crawl, the Mana Fixers as well. Actually, I think we only ran one of the Mana Fixers. It's actually like Rise Crawl and 1 path might be the only flashbackers. So I guess, yes, hidden flashbackers is better than nothing. Well, there's full Coven for the troop to get an extra counter each turn now, which is not ideal. And now... Okay. Now that I've used the farmer, I will go back to drawing lands. Here's a Bat Whisperer to hold off the troop. Make them put more counters on it for now. Eccentric Farmer just perfectly found the land clump this game. It's very funny. Land, land, land. Then Farmer, 3 spells, and then land. Let's see what trick they've got here. Green and red have a million combat tricks in this set. It's hard to know exactly what they're going to have here. Clear shot. That's devastating. Wins both fights. Technically still just a 1-for-1. We still stopped all of their damage for turn and only got 1-for-1 because we only blocked with Bat Whisperer and Bat Whisperer's token. So that was just everything that Bat Whisperer gave us. Take the trade to stop a second Bat Whisperer, so we play Eccentric Farmer here. If I mill 3 spells again, I'm going to need to take a break. There we go, 1 land. Eaten alive. No, we milled our great removal. Go to 11. Draw another land, as you do. And what if I just crawl from the cellar and Outland Liberator to have 4 power on blocks? At this point. It's that or I crawl from the cellar, something I can't cast this turn anyway. Like picking up the Hound Tamer as a mana sink. And not casting it. I mean, I could just cast a Bat Whisper without the token and have the 4-2 against the 4-4. It's also good. Yeah, and then next turn I can go crawl from the cellar plus Hound Tamer no matter what I draw. So yeah, next turn, crawl from the cellar, Hound Tamer, and then when we flash back the Rise from the Ants, we should be pretty stable. This is going to be a 3-3 on blocks, so I'm not going to attack here. So I'm not going to want to double block Troop with a 3-3 and a 2-3. But I'm happy to block it with a 4-2. It might be better to just spam Hound Tamer than it is to Rise from the Ants just yet. I think I need to play Rise from the Ants, though, because I can make somebody a... I guess I can make Hound Tamer 6-6 on blocks if they have nothing. But I think we want to be buffing up the non-Hound Tamer creatures, so whenever they do draw removal for Hound Tamer, everybody else is still good. Although they're green and red, so all their removal should be damage-based. It should be pretty difficult for them to kill Hound Tamer if we make it really high toughness. Gross. They drew their Augur of Autumn. They drew their rare before we've drawn any of our 3, and it immediately sees a creature on top to draw an extra card. And then a land. Augur of Autumn was an instant draw 2. RNG has been massively against us this game. I've already used my crawl from the cellar, so there's a chance that one of our rares is in the top 3 now, and then the farmer does not. Or does actually just mill it entirely, and we don't get to play it this game. I should probably still play it, because technically, you know, they're more likely to be in the bottom 14 than the bottom 3, so this is more likely to mill us closer to them than accidentally mill them. But I have the exact mana to play Sentry and put 2 counters on the board, so I'm just going to do that. We did end up running like 5 or 6 removal spells. We've still only seen 1, and that one got milled. Gotta find a way to kill this Augur. We have been dodging a lot of pretty important card types, removal spells and bomb rares this game. Buff some ants. I have exactly enough mana now to play a 3 mana card and double counter. So I'm going to go Path. Get the Scry one as well. And have the blue if we find Slowgurk. We scry into Midnight Ambush, which is great here. We keep that and do not play Farmer. So Valar, whenever one of their werewolves hits us, they draw a card, and what does it do during the night? Gives one of their werewolves +X+O trampled, so we have to Midnight Ambush to Valar. We're going to die essentially immediately, because they have infinite fireballs. +X+O every single turn. Well, we might honestly already be dead to just an all attack here. It's not a wolf or werewolf. 6/6 can't get a buff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana up. They can +5 and have a 10 power trampling assailant, but it doesn't buff the toughness at all. So if we block with 5 power, we still kill that. I can't afford to take a lot of damage here, though. I really can't. So I might just put 2 insects here. I'd lose both of them. But stop the damage. And then keep a really chunky eccentric farmer. They draw the card, deal a few to me, I should say. This is the only wolf or werewolf on their board outside of Tovolar. So actually, if we kill that, we might be able to just hold up Midnight Ambush for something else. Oh, it can buff itself, though. It's any target wolf or werewolf. Yeah. I need 10 mana up. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess I have 12. I could play a 2 mana spell. I do not have a 2 mana spell. The 10 mana is for double pup plus ambush. So we pass. This game's been awful. Now they have just the ability to shut off a blocker multiple times with the Lambhole Terrier. I might have to Midnight Ambush that instead of Tovolar. They have 12 mana next turn if they play 1 land. They can shut off 3 of our 4 blockers. Oh my god. Midnight Ambush the Lambhole Terrier instead of the Tovolar then. Get another high toughness creature. Start working on one at least. There's Silverbolt for Tovolar. I can Silverbolt and still have 8 up. That's actually perfect mana. I think I hold up this Silverbolt. I mean, there are green removal spells that have one of their creatures shoot one of ours. I don't actually think we need it up for that because it only does 3 damage. So if they use a green removal spell, they're going to use it on the 7/7, and then 3 damage isn't going to stop it. So I probably should just Silverbolt the Tovolar here in the end step. Yeah, they get a +1/+1 counter here as well. So that's 8. That'll still have 4 toughness against the 3 damage. This is not a Wolf or Wolf, so it doesn't die to Silverbolt. Yeah, we kill Tovolar. Now we don't have counters, but they still have counters going, and basically need to draw one of our 3 rares. They're all in the bottom 13, all 3 of them. Slogurk's too late now, because I can't really self-mill anymore at this point. But Augur to help find our Huntmaster, or just find our Huntmaster, our biggest outs. But even they might not be enough. Because now we don't get counters every turn anymore. You're so late, Slogurk, you absolute buffoon. Huntmaster's 3 times as likely to be in the bottom 9 as it is to be in the top 3. So there's a 75% chance playing Eccentric Farmer is actively getting us closer to Huntmaster, and no matter what, it's putting 1 or 2 counters on Slogurk. I think I have to play it. It's also making my board wider to make me die less soon. So we got a 25% chance here of milling Huntmaster, and a 75% chance of this just being by far the best play. Didn't mill Huntmaster, but we milled Eaten Alive and Ecstatic Awakener, which hurts. We probably mill out, but we already had less cards in deck than our opponent. Like, what is our out now? We have a Huntmaster and a Foul Play left. Just had awful RNG this game. Milling the majority of our removal, not hitting any removal till like more than halfway through the deck to actually deal with any of their stuff. So they just got so far ahead in counters and draws. I don't think there's any way we're winning this one, and I don't think there was ever a way we were winning this with the way these cards lined up. And it all started with just draw exclusively lands, mill exclusively spells. Just terrible Eccentric Farmer RNG. Should have known that bad omen from the start and got out of here while I could. Six cards left. You gotta be kidding me. They have the super mid combat trick to save it anyway. So there will be no killing Augur and no drawing cards. They find another Lambhole Terrier while we only have 4 creatures. It's another duel for dominance. All right, well, That game was the poster child for just rough variants. Our deck is more than capable of competing in a game like that. We had more removal spells in the deck than they had bombs we needed to kill, but we didn't line up and draw the removal spells. We drew terribly at the start too, just flooding out bad, especially with the eccentric farmers milling lands instead of spells, and us drawing lands instead of spells. Everything lined up about as poorly as possible at literally every possible moment there, and that is more than easily going to lose us the game. Here we are now for game number 3. I don't see how we could possibly get unluckier than that game, so let's see how things go here. I'm going to lead with Outland Liberator. Dennick is a very strong card when you disturb it back from the grave. A 4-mana 3/2 flyer that can keep investigating and giving them clue tokens to draw them a bunch, so we really want to exile that if possible. So try to wait till we get to Eaten Alive at 5. Dennick's an incredibly powerful card just in general, because like if you don't kill it early, they're getting so much lifelink in that it's really hard to race it. So our opponent is by default, off of playing a Dennick, going to be very far ahead this game. Find that Evolving Wilds for blue, and we'll pass here. Candle Trap the Liberator. Well, it can still block. Gain their 2. Find Harvesttide Sentry. Let's foul play Observer and play Harvesttide Sentry. Could have flipped the switch here. Be pretty good. They do not. It's the 3/1 threatening to block the Dennick, but I don't want to trade into it. I want to Eaten Alive it to get the exile on it. Ominous Roost. Well, that is a target for Outland Liberator if I've ever seen one, and Outland Liberator's under a Candle Trap anyway. Feels like pretty good value to me. It's holding off on killing Dennick for another turn, but that's fine. Play Awakener with the mana to flip it here. I don't know that I'll be sacking any of these, which means I just sack the clue instead. Take my 1 in this guy. Secrets of the Key. Okay, the front half of Dennick doesn't do anything off of flashbacks or anything. Back half is whenever anybody's dying, when they're put into graveyards from anywhere. Rite of Oblivion. Well, I guess we'll be sacking that to draw a card since it's dead anyway. Draw a second Eaten Alive. See, I told you I have removal in here. I wasn't lying. Goodbye, Dennick. Hello, Island, and Jam 6. Rite of Oblivion, the Awoken Demon, sacking the clue, so more good value from the demon. Bat Whisper is an excellent draw. Run it out. Morning Patrol is their play. That's another good target for exile-based removal, so they don't even bring it back. Drawn to Path to the Festival and Rise of the Ants. Makes me tempted to Eaten Alive instead of... Or sorry, sack something to Eaten Alive instead of hard casting it, but I can hard cast it in Path to the Festival still. Probably better to sack the bat here and just play a bunch of ants, but I'm going to get a little greedy. Maximum creatures out of all my cards. Play Rise of the Ants and this Sentry next turn. But that's already enough to win the game. That is going to be 2-1, heading into game number 4. Game 4, we have the goofy little Wombo combo. We are on the draw here, but we got Awakener to Timberland Guide. Which was pretty cute. I could play the Sentry on 2 still, so that I can turn 3, play Timberland Guide with a counter on like Awakener to get an unblockable Sentry swing instead. Wait to flip Awakener till turn 4 at that rate. Cathar Commando. Well, so much for unblockable sentries then. It can be blocked by Cathar Commando no matter what. Morbid Opportunist. Removal spell, removal spell. Give me a foul play. Give me a foul play. This thing is going to grind out so much card draw for our opponent if we don't get rid of it immediately. Well, shucks. I need it to be nighttime badly. Oh. Dual craft trainer for double strike swings. Yup. Bat Whisperer is a cool one. They know I can flip this into a 5/5 stat line, so they take it and we play a Bat Whisperer. Even if we lose all of our 1/1s, we will still have Coven now for Sentry. Although at this point I don't really care about the Coven. They have more than enough creatures that can block Sentry through its ability. Not having the removal for this opportunist is going to get us killed so bad here, because we have to now chomp every turn and give them another draw. We're going to have to beat an opponent drawing twice as many cards as us. Take 6, go to 5. There's no way I can take 6, go to 5 here. Get your card. Candletrap Awakener. Crawl from the Cellar is the draw. Super mid here. And I guess I have nothing else to play this turn. Crawl from the Cellar, the Timberland Guide. cast it for a counter on Harvest Tide Century and have a Midnight Ambush up. I guess they just Gavany Trapper the Sentry anyway. Gavany Trapper the Bats. At this rate, we're going to have to somehow cheese outspeed them here. Cheese outrace them. We found the dual craft trainer cheese kill. And they're still going to be mountains ahead in card advantage from Opportunist. But their attacks are no longer really successful right now. I mean, they can hit us for 3. If they tap the Timberland Guide. Yeah, no, that turn went as well as things could be going for us. Still think I'm behind here. They're definitely in the winning position with an Opportunist on the board, but Rise of the Ants, it's a pretty big deal. We're actually in this game now, and I didn't feel that way for a while. Okay, if we don't draw lands, we're not, but that's one of the better non-land cards to draw. With Rise of the Ants and Huntmaster, we play full defense. Now, just do everything we can to not randomly die here within a turn or two. I think every trade is still good for them. Even trading the 3-1 into the 1-1. That's a painful trade. 4-2 into their 3-2 and they draw a card in the meantime. This hurts, but I'm taking it. I'm supposed to Rise of the Ants first. Huntmaster's kind of the same card. Because they have the Gavany Trapper on board, they're just going to keep tapping the Huntmaster every turn anyway. I think I can afford my 1 damage now. After the Rise of the Ants life gain. So they like tap another creature here. I still have a 1-1 on the 3-1 and a 4-2 on the 3-2. Take 3. And if we kill multiple creatures in one turn, we're counteracting one of their Opportunist draws, which is big. Okay. This could be bad for me. This could be the top-decked massive combat trick or something. This is take 3, they draw 1 card. I think I was right to attack with the bat there, because if they made this attack and I had the bat untapped, I would still block the exact same way I'm doing right now. I wouldn't be chumping with the bat here. The only place the bat could block is to trump 1 damage. So if they have some way to kill me here, I think they'd kill me even if the bat were untapped, because it's not going to be playing around it. They probably have the +2/+0 lifelink, make a 1/1 flyer thing. That card is real good here. Not quite lethal. But they could put me to 2 or they could get a 1/1 flyer. Just play another Shady Traveler. Probably off of the draw. There's an Eaten Alive. And Zauer draw, we can finally kill the Opportunist. But I can't afford to play that right now instead of playing multiple blockers. I guess I could attack with the bat, play Bat Whisper, and sack the tapped bat. 4 blockers up, but there's multiple menacing threats now too, with the Gavany Trapper down. Oh, this is such a yikes. I think it's Huntmaster pass. We play around the +2/+0 trick. They have some kind of instant here. The way they played feels like it's like +2 damage. So I need to block literally every creature they have. So I need 6 blockers, which means no attackers here. I have exactly 6 blockers. I guess 5. Gavany Trapper can hit us for 2 if he wants. But I do need the additional blockers so that I have the creature for Trapper to have to tap down, yeah. +2/+2 indestructible on either of them would be really bad for me. If it's the +2/+0 lifelink and then create a 1/1 flyer, then that's fine on either of them. It's the indestructible one. God dang it. At least they only kill 1 ant. We have 12 damage on board. We can't kill them by eating their Opportunist. Top deck the Candle Trap. Shoot. I'm 1 mana from recasting Rise of the Ants here. Huntmaster doesn't do anything if it has Defender, even during the night. I mean, it's still blocking, which is pretty big. So if I shut off their Coven by killing Opportunist, Huntmaster could still matter here. I weirdly kind of want to Eaten Alive without a sack, because if I sack, they're drawing a card and I'm losing the big blocker, or they're drawing a card and I'm losing a bat, or drawing a card and losing a 2/2. Shut off Coven. Attack with 1 creature. They could tap Huntmaster. I still block with a 1/1 and a 2/2 on Traveler. Kill it at the cost of a 2/2. Oh, I guess they just tap the 2/2. And then I block with Huntmaster and a bat. And just essentially just jumping with a bat. Because I have to double block. Huntmaster's not the greatest blocker. It's an 0/6. I'd still have to block with a 0/6 and a 1/1. Yeah. I think I did that wrong. Still block here now that they don't have Morbid Opportunist. Have to double spell to flip the Predator back. If I attack with both there, they could tap a single ant, and then I'm blocking the 4/4 with a 0/7 and a 3/3 and losing a 3/3 for nothing. Of course, they top down foul play, and then they can do the same thing. So yeah, they can tap a 3/3 and attack here. Go to 1 life. Go to 1 life is so bad. A lot of live train stuff. I put them to 4 and then play Bat Whisper for 2 more creatures. Well, I guess I'm going to 2, not 1. Like, I could put them to 1 if I don't block at all, but also put them to 4 against tons of creatures still. Just hoping for, like, any spell to double spell there. It's a big one. I think they're already dead on board, though, actually, aren't they? They can stop Bat Whisper, chump a 3/3, take 4. Or not chump a 3/3, but block a 3/3 and take 4. Yeah, it didn't matter what we drew that turn. Whew, that was a close game of Magic, but it will be 3-1 in the end. I think I made a rough line somewhere there in the end that got us into those turns where we had to keep chumping turn over turn. I think it was that I kept the Huntmaster. I should have just sacked it to the Eaten Alive to play more creatures earlier. We should have just sacked the big can't deal damage creature. When all of their stuff had Menace, sure, I have 1 big blocker, but I'm still chumping with 1 thing every turn. Yeah, we should have sacked that and played more creatures that actually mattered earlier. We could have had a much safer position in that end game. Some loose stuff there, but still find the win. We're 3-1 heading into game number 5. All right, here we are for game number 5. Very reasonable monocolored opener. Obviously, it's awkward that it's monocolored, but it's got very strong cards in it. Draws the 4th forest for the first draw of the game. We are on the draw here. Our opponent starts mono green as well. Lead with their Timberland Guide. Here's our Outland Liberator. They're on green, white. Send in the 2 damage and go to 18. Dawnheart Wardens, if they get 3 different power worth of creatures on board, they keep giving +1/+0 to all of their creatures each turn. Feels good enough to just Silver Bolt that, and that'll also flip my Liberator since we won't be casting a spell, which is pretty huge. Allows us to play a Nighttime Hound Tamer, which would be a 4/4. There was an argument to hold up on blocks there. Obviously the 3/3 stops the 2/2 from attacking in. So we could just stop all their damage instead of hitting them for 2. But I'll hit them for 2 and take 2 on the crackback. In response, that's fine. Okay. Combat tricks or anything here. Tempted to farmer towards the black source now. Got no blocks for Cathars unless we play Hound Tamer and they don't have removal for it. I think I'm gonna farmer. Land, land, land. Beautiful stuff from Eccentric Farmer. I don't hate trading the 3/3 into the 3/3 here. Especially if they get Coven. Yeah, that's fine. Slow them down. Make it harder for them to reach Coven again. I don't have the 2nd black to just hardcast Eaten Alive on this Wardens yet. This will be Eccentric Farmer. We know we can pick up another Swamp here at worst. Build a flashback card. You'll love to see it. So now we're set up for that Eaten Alive next turn, and we have the blocker for the 1/1. So we just take 3, go to 13. Tempting to Eaten Alive the Broodweaver, as that is a card that'll make more tokens. But I have a 2/3 to block a 2/4 turn over turn over turn. Yeah, we're just trying to live till 8 mana Rise of the Ants now. Wolf and an Unruly Mob. It's a pretty good draw too. Just gonna run it out. We still have Crawl from the Cellar somewhere in the deck. Just plop that thing on the board. Even if they removal spell it, we got a bunch of wolves. Sure. Got a bunch of wolves and a bunch of ants here. A Slogurk coming up. Hound Tamer's gonna be better than Slogurk here. Just gonna play that and start slapping counters all over the board. Six mana. I don't have enough to play anybody else alongside Hound Tamer, but that's fine. I mean, I do, but I don't have enough mana to like play them and put a counter on the board here. Storm the Festival. That's terrifying. Put their best 2 permanents of the top 5 onto the board. One of them is an Augur of Autumn. It's massive. Okay. Well, this game is now insane. And not in our favor unless we draw a Crawl from the Cellar. Harvest-Tide Sentry. Okay. Still hard for our opponent to hit us here. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana, so I can activate Hound Tamer twice, or I could play a 3-drop and a 2-drop and activate it once. Let's do that. I think what I'm supposed to be doing here is just constantly juicing up my wolf tokens. So if I'm ever to hit Crawl from the Cellar on Huntmaster, we can play it during the night and then start getting our wolf tokens to chip away at their board and break through that way pretty easily. They got counters of their own on the board? Not on the board. This is going to be something weird in their hand. I guess I need to block with an ant and buff that instead of putting a wolf at risk, because the wolves are important for when we get a Crawl from the Cellar at Huntmaster. Oops from opponent? It's just a genuine oops attack, or I guess so. Yeah, just a land in hand. Now it's nighttime if we ever find that Crawl from the Cellar. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'd really like to get a flyer here, so I don't think I'm running out Bat Whisperer. Oh, all our creatures are 2 power or less? Oh my god, we are. Thank you, Harvest-Tide Sentry. And then Storm is, see, they have 9 out of 10 mana. Yeah, they can't do it yet. Now we get a flyer to put counters onto. I guess they have 2 flying blockers. They have the 2/4, and then they'll have a 1/2. That is large during the night. And there's another potential flyer when it dies. Ooh, good stuff from Augur of Autumn. That's a draw 3. That's a draw 4? Okay. Quadruple Augur of Autumn play in 1 turn. I was starting to feel better about our position than I remembered how quickly Augur of Autumn can crush. Well, maybe the speed of Augur of Autumn going crazy is a good thing, because here's ours. Ooh, an Eaten Alive coming up. Perfect. Eaten Alive the reach creature and jam with a bat a bunch. These have been astronomically cluttered boards a lot today. This is what our first loss looked like. Super cluttered board. I mean, we only had like 4 creatures that time, which is why we lost that one in the end. Ritual Guardian. They've played enough cards, they're going to mill out before us, so we keep that in mind as well. I feel like our board's good enough, it's not going to come down to mill. 6, 10, 12, especially 12 mana to activate. I could just eat and alive and activate once, though. I'm playing cards anyway. I can't resist the greed that lives within me. About to cast even more cards. Where the crawl from the cellar, though. Start getting into werewolf fights. A reach creature immediately after I did all that. Now that obviously looks wrong. We have 9 cards, they have 10. If they ever cast Storm the Festival, they mill out first again. If I stop using our card. Our Augur. There's the crawl from the cellar. Okay. I can draw it and then cast the Huntmaster here. Yes. And then the plan's to flip tonight to eat their creatures. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. No removal for Huntmaster, please. Two more permanents from the top 5. Basically searching their deck at this point for whatever they want. Dawnheart Rejuvenator is the only one, so we still mill out first. But no removal for Huntmaster will mean that this can now rip their board away slowly but surely. Foul play coming up too. Stopping their upkeep before they draw a card. Five, 5. Can fight the 3/5 reach. Yep. It's a good sign that I should kill that now. 4/4 can fight the 2/2. And then a 2/2 fights a 1/1. They have 10 creatures. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have 5 turns to break through this. Those are some of the few creatures we can't actually fight away with our wolves, so I'm happy to trade them off into our low toughness creatures. We use 2 mana instead of 4, I believe, to kill somebody pre-combat. But then I have 11 up. I still need to play 1 more land for that to actually matter. I'm still going to do it. Kill the highest toughness creature. Attack all with 2 instant speed removal spells up. Is that good enough? Probably. I still have 5 cards left in my deck. Still go for a longer game plan. Longer/safer game plan. Get the lifelink off the board. Okay, they're gonna blow the pack leader up now. Pup's gonna kill the Cathar still. And then we'll have the 5/5 kill the 2/4, I guess. Well, I don't have the mana to play Crawl from the Cellar regardless, but I was going to say I cast the Foul Play this turn, so I don't want to play Crawl from the Cellar right now. I believe this is like a moderate flunge because we need to get this game ending. And then next turn, Crawl back the Huntmaster. Playing no more cards off the top of our deck for the rest of this game. Sacking no more clues for the rest of this game. I probably should have just sent the pup and the 5/5 in as well at this rate. I don't think I'm going to be able to spend mana on pup instead of spending mana on Huntmaster at any point. With only 4 more attacks to go. Oh, Slogurk actually picking up lands when he dies is pretty sick here. If I Crawl from the Cellar, though, it's going to be daytime, which we really don't want, so I'm just going to activate Pup. Our opponent might be able to flip today, though. We need it to be nighttime in order for the Packmaster, the Huntmaster, to blow things up. GG from opponent. All right, they scooped there. We might have had lethal on board, but I don't know. Maths for blockers. Probably a little bit more stressful in the end than it needed to be. I mean, we had 4 more swings. They were down to like 3 creatures, so we were perfectly fine there. But I'm sure I could have probably started pushing them a little earlier that game. Either way, works out great for us, and we are 4-1, guaranteed another positive record here as we head into game number 6. Mono black hand here with 4 green spells is not a keepable opener, unfortunately. Mono black hand here with 2 green spells is not a keepable opener, unfortunately. What can you do? We're on the 9-8 split, 9 green, 8 black, which is as good as most 2-color decks, so it's not even really a fault of the mana base. That's just part of Magic. We have to start with a 5-card hand here, and this will be our most likely to lose game yet. Gotta keep a mono green one now. It's better mono black hands in this deck. Certainly deeper into green. We have more green spells. Probably shouldn't have ditched the island if I'm going to keep the 6-drop. But there's very few cards that need specifically the blue. Top decking another 6-drop makes it look super bad. We didn't keep the island. Let's probably get rid of Bat Whisper and just keep the island towards Rise of the Ants. Well, we're playing against the best color pair in the set with our worst hand of the day. And they've got the Startle. Got it. That turn's pretty awful for me either way I play it, because if that thing hits me, it just keeps getting bigger anyway. So now we got the Startle out of the way, so the Sentry might actually trade, but the Awakener is going to be a 4/4 now. Yep, no attacks with the Blood Thief this time since Startle is gone. Holding all their mana up. Joke's on them. Our hand is garbage. And to be fair, had I kept an island instead of Bat Whisperer, the entire game plays out the same so far. We still aren't casting any of these. Organ Hoarder, the Mythic Common. Siege Zombie. Outside of the Storm Rider Spirit, it's pretty much just the Dream streamlined blue-black deck. Would have been interesting to see how we would fare in this matchup with one of our better hands, like one of the hands we drew in other games, but you're not going to win this matchup with a really awful hand like we had to start with 5 cards here. If I kept the island, then we would be locked into playing a 6-drop next turn now, at least. But it wouldn't matter, because we're already going down to like 7, however we play it. And that's even if I chump. Like, the best we can do is chump and take 9 damage. Yeah, this game ended before it started. I still probably have flipped the switch up here. Even if we did keep, well, if we kept the island, then boom. We play the 6-drop next turn, which is the exact same as how it plays now anyway. The only one that might barely live is Rise of the Ants. Okay. Does this barely live? I have to chump and take 7? Yeah, no, we're gone. We're so gone. It's not even funny. Alright. Yeah, just bad opening hand there. Game ended pretty much right when we made our mulligan decisions. Our only chance was maybe keeping the 7 and then drawing perfect mana. But I think those mulligans were pretty objectively correct. There was nothing castable in either of those hands. Here we are now for game number 7. We're 4-2 right now. I think this deck has been actually pretty great. It's been playing out better than I thought it would. Our only losses have been some really statistically unlikely stuff. Rough mulligans for our second loss, and our first loss was a comedy of RNG oriented errors. Keep a 4-land hand, draw 3 lands in a row, and then when I play the mill 3, pick up a land, hit 3 spells in a row, and then immediately draw a 5th land after that. All of that kind of stuff from the get-go. This is a great opening hand here. Playing against a white deck, another green-white deck, the Coven strategy, sort of. Lead with the Sentry here. There's Cathar Commando, 3-1 versus 3-1. Fight. Trade it is. Mana efficient and play a Hound Tamer this turn. Loyal Griff is the play, 2/2 flyer. Clarion Cathars for a 3/3 and a 1/1. Play our 3/1 against their 3/3. I guess I could attack here. They can double block, then I put a counter on and they both die. But if they don't block, then it's really good for me. I think that's reasonable. Because against 4 open mana, they have to consider us having -2/-2 tricks and all kinds of nonsense. So yeah, and then if they don't block, that is the best possible turn for us. Getting the Bat Whisperer down with the flyer, which threatens to be a 2/2 when we have Hound Tamer mana untapped. Easy Clarion Cathar's trade. Uh-oh. Well, I didn't hit land 5 to exile this. That thing kills me really fast. 3/3 flying double strike. Missing the land here is so depressing. We have to sack the bat token. Yeah. We're still very much in this game. It's just sad to have to play it like that. Alright. Wouldn't be surprised if we're actually slightly in the lead here still. They have 2 cards in their hand. We have 3. We're already a tiny bit ahead on board as well. Eccentric Farmer gets some good mills, though. Gets a land plus a flashback spell for a couple more 1/1s. To balance things out here. Missing land still. They block the Hound Tamer, we target it, get a counter on it. They don't block it, we Bat Whisperer. And there's our flyer to put a counter on for the Loyal Griff blocks. There's Join the Dance, couple 1/1s. In our land here. I can play Ecstatic Awakener and still be threatening to put a counter on our flyer. I like that. Do you have any Trapper? Trap a creature each turn. These Harvest Tide sentries are going to be absolutely gnarly. They have no creatures on their board that can block them. I think I'm playing one at a time so that I always have Awakener's ability up against a removal spell from our opponent. So if they do like removal spell a sentry or something, we get an extra card worth of value and a flipped Awakener for the 4/4. Gavany Silversmith as the draw kind of immediately removes the Harvestite Sentry plan, which is sad. This is really suspicious because I could still block with Hound Tamer and put a counter on itself, which I don't know if our opponent knows that, so I could do that and try to get the free kill on Farmer, but I think Hound Tamer is an important enough card here that I'm not going to take even the tiniest risk that our opponent does have the trick there. Play the second one, holding up the ability to put the counter on it. Then we can Midnight Ambush the Trapper. No, 2 4/4s. Shadow Beast siding for a 4/4, and they can flashback and get another one that will also hold off the sentries. They are hitting the stuff here. I probably have to Midnight Ambush Trapper. Even if I am trying to set up like a double block. Well, now I have the backup plan, if they do have the trick. So I will do this. Sick. Ambush the Trapper. And there's the concession from our opponent. That is 5-2 now. In the money, wherever things go from here. Here we are for game 8 now. We have a solid start no matter what, with Ecstatic Awakener into Harvest Tide Sentry, and a Crawl from the Cellar for later. Playing against a red deck. Red decks can have some pretty good cards against the Ecstatic Awakener. There's a 3-mana deal 1 to any target and draw a card, particularly if they're black-red. That is the Vampire's color pair, where they can cast that spell even for just 1 and a red instead of 2 and a red. And that card's really good against Awakeners and Harvest Tide Sentries, so the Neonate's Rush 1 damage spell is just very good against our deck altogether. Our opponent leads with Festival Crasher. They are likely to be running a lot of combat tricks. Oh, we actually just straight up get the trade. Well, that was unexpected. So assuming I'm probably trading into a combat trick there, but this card can get really scary and dump a bunch of damage out real quick. They were trying to get a Blood Thief trigger, and now they didn't, and I got a clue. Beautiful stuff. I could be mana efficient here and run out the Crawl from the Cellar, then next turn I can play a 3/1 and crack a clue. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to obviously hold on to the flashback of Crawl from the Cellar, but I think I'm okay to just immediately get some value out of it, rather than trying to save it for something I mill. As long as I have 1 instance from Crawl from the Cellar, I am safe to drop Eccentric Farmers and get them going. Augur of Autumn is the draw, good lord. They're probably holding up removal here, so I don't really want to Augur. I'm just going to play the Sentry and draw the card. Neonate's Rush the Awakener. Rotten Reunion, the crawl from the cellar, alright. Fair enough. Doesn't do any blocking, so we don't really care. We'll take the 2 damage. That'll get them their lost life trigger to play maybe another Blood Thief or something. Famished Foragers for the extra 3 mana to double spell, play that and a creature here. 2 creatures, 1 turn. Yeah, Foragers is some spooky stuff, and it hits the Voldaren Ambusher to draw them another card. Well, not draw them another card, but get them another card worth of value. Kill a creature when it enters. I still feel pretty favored here. I think we're fine. I've got the Sentry to trade into one of those, and the Eaten Alive to get rid of the other one. They only have 1 card left in their hand. Augur can only play lands off the top right now. Anyway, it's not even that good. Just run out the farmer. Finds the blue. We'll play it. And pass. Snap trade, probably trading into a trick, I imagine. 4-3 down to 3-1's pretty low. Maybe they have their own crawl from the cellar. Nope. Just get a good trade, I guess. I should not play my land until after I play my Augur. Because it could be on top, and then we draw a card with it. It is not on top. It is an eccentric farmer again. Sending a 2-3, still have a 2-3 up on blocks. We're actually pretty okay with Augur dying to removal or anything here, considering it's really unlikely to reach Coven. It's still going to help us dig through land clumps, but not much else. Mounted Dread Knight, 5-4 trample. I don't want to have to Eaten Alive that, but I might have to Eaten Alive that. Yep. I'm going to keep holding the 2-3 up to shut off their if an opponent lost life triggers. Okay, Purifying Dragon's also terrifying. There's the Silver Bolt for that dragon for the draw next turn if I don't play Eccentric Farmer. So I shan't. Send a message, boop the Augur of Autumn. Go to 14. Oh no, they actually do have a Voldaren Ambusher to finish it. That's really funny. Okay. Got the 2-3s to stop that 2-2 body, and we got the Silver Bolts on the Purifying Dragon. Two, 3 bodies so awkwardly good here. I think I have to cast this once again. It's only bad if Tovolar's in the top 3 instead of the bottom 16, which is not that likely. He's not there, thank goodness. So we mill closer to him. And we're chilling, stopping their life loss triggers. 14 life to 14 life, 2/2/2s versus 2/2/3s. 2 cards in hand to 2 cards in hand, but our 2 cards are lands. They've only drawn 5 lands all game, if those aren't lands though, so statistically speaking, they're pretty likely to also be lands at this rate. Liberator doesn't actually block the ambushers well, so I'm still not going to send it until that turns into a 3/3, and then I would be fine to do so. Bat Whisper with no trigger. Thank you very much, Eccentric Farmers. Liberator's going to be a 3/3 now, but now they've got 3 creatures, so we hold our 3 creatures. Only 2 lands left in our deck now. There's probably like 12 lands left in our opponent's deck, if they have none in hand. They're moving in. Block, block, obviously. Post-combat neonates rush the farmer. Yep. Hello, my friend. Tovalar's Huntmaster is here. Unfortunately, they made it daytime. But I guess even if it were nighttime, the 2/2 wolf just trades into the 2/2 vampire. I could be holding extra lands if they draw No Way Out to make me discard 2. But I actually do, I think, still have a Hound Tamer in my deck that I would want as much mana out as possible for the mana sink ability. Rotten Reunion and Augur Bottom. That way they've cast a spell and it doesn't flip to night. Because flipping to night is also bad because I start making extra 2/2s. So we'll attack and just pass turn trying to flip to night so we can get our extra 2/2s. Actually, if we fight the ambusher, they're dead on board. Fight it with a summoning sick one that's not attacking. And then the GG from opponent. Burn the Accursed in response. But obviously this card's busted, we just get to use it again. And that is lethal. That is 6-2. Another draft of Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Another draft that makes it all the way to the final battle. Every single draft of this flashback trip has gone to the finals, which is absolutely sick. We are 6-2 yet again. See if we can't get our 4th trophy or another 6-3. I'd be happy either way here. So without further ado, let's see how this draft ends things off for us. All right, here we are on the play for the final battle, final game of Magic for this draft, no matter what. We have to top deck a land here. But if we top deck any land that's double Eccentric Farmer to hit the rest of the mana for us, they're incredibly likely off of a mill 6 to find the black source. I'm keeping this one. We got 2 turns to top deck a land, 2 draw steps to top deck a land. And it's immediately the black source is a very solid opener now. Playing against blue-red, and they lead with Festival Crasher, which I can't ambush. There's Hound Tamer for us, if I want to just trade into that Crasher immediately, but we'll just play the Farmer. Mills some lands for us, and it actually mills 2 lands, so even if this second farmer hits 3 spells, the second farmer's guaranteed to pick up a land. We're not going to block here because they could play even just an instant speed card draw spell like Consider, the mill 1 draw card, and eat the farmer. Our opponent is the good blue-red spells deck. Double Festival Crasher. I expect to see some Seize the Storms and all that kind of nonsense coming up here. I wouldn't hate to Midnight Ambush a Festival Crasher on attacks. There's got to be something better to do for the turn, though, worth a mana. I mean, we'd kill one of the Festival Crashers, and then it's like if they don't block, we can also just Bat Whisperer. So it's pretty good for us either way. I'd prefer they don't block, but if they do, clearing out one of 2 Festival Crashers is still value. Beautiful turn. Bat Whisper will be a snap block here. Because if they don't give it first strike, it's got enough power to still kill the Crasher, however much they're going to buff it. Okay, Startle does work pretty well. Startle's the 1 card to stop that. Okay, Timberland Guide for another 3 power creatures, reasonable. Timberland Guide also is the mana to play that while holding up Midnight Ambush on another block. I think I'm supposed to play defense against double Festival Crasher. Put a 3/4 in front of one of the 1/3s and a 1/1 in front of the other one. Try to hold on to like Eaten Alive for the Seize the Storm giant elementals they might get. Neonate's Rush. Abandon the post. 2 creatures can't block this turn. Good lord, are they the Festival Crasher deck? That's cheesy as ever. See, at this rate, I might Midnight Ambush just to stop 2 damage. Going to 5, and that has flashback. That's such cheese. I guess not even 5, I go to 3 if I don't cast that. Really wanted to land here to play Bat Whisperer and Eaten Alive. Probably got to be Hound Tamer and Eaten Alive. I have to Eaten Alive to not die, but even if I Eaten Alive, if they have a cheap enough spell, we're still going to die to Festival Crasher. Shutting off blocks. Let's go Farmer for mana here, because they're just going to abandon the post or 2 blocks anyway. Okay, if they abandon the post and then play another 2 mana or less spell, we're dead. I couldn't play 2 blockers that turn. I needed, if I had that land already, I could have Bat Whispered plus Eaten Alive and had the 3 blockers up I would need to not die this turn, but I didn't have the mana. Alright. Well done from our opponent. The full-on Festival Crasher deck steals it from us in the end. Yeah, it's a pretty ridiculous deck if you can get the cards to go for it. That was rough. If this Olivia's Midnight Ambush were a foul play instead, we would have won pretty hard because the foul play could kill it during our turn. The fact that it was specifically Midnight Ambush, that the 1/3's dodge was pretty brutal. If we ran out a Hound Tamer earlier, maybe we have a chance there. We run out a Hound Tamer to get the day-night cycle going so that I could do something where I pass turn, like pass turn to get it to be night and then Midnight Ambush at the start of their turn. Yeah. There were alternate lines that definitely could have stuck around a little longer and maybe get us towards the long game there, but I wasn't expecting them to have just the full wombo combo with those Festival Crashers, so I wasn't playing quite as defensively against them, trying to maybe hold an Eaten Alive for a bigger threat later, like if they had those Seize the Storm elementals that can be really big. But I guess I just needed to be actively treating Festival Crashers as massive threats. We could have Eaten Alive earlier. Try to set up a Midnight Ambush with the Hound Tamer there. Yeah. Just full synergy, full pop off from our opponent. Great deck over there. And that's going to be another 6-3 run. Again, 6-3 is an excellent record. 6-3 being the worst we've ever done in Midnight Hunt on this flashback trip is insane. The win rate is through the roof. I should not be unhappy at all, but I am still always bummed out to not quite get the trophy run. This was a sweet deck. If you ever want to play green in this set, the best way to do it by far is to play great rares. That is pretty much the only reason to be in green. It's very, very hard to have a functional green deck in this format off of purely commons and uncommons because the color is just so much less deep in terms of card quality than most of the others, particularly blue, black, and white. I guess green and red both don't have like a massive amount of great commons or uncommons, but blue and black certainly. Almost all of like the top 5 best blue and black commons are better than the best green common, which is Eccentric Farmer. So really hard to end up in this color, but when you open up a pack 1 pick 1 Huntmaster, you can still run a green deck. You can still do it to good success. There are some decent commons, just far less than the other colors, like running all those Eccentric Farmers here, and then the Harvestide Sentries are okay. But there's some pretty premium uncommons too. Rise of the Ants was a banger, and Hound Tamer was a banger. So I guess it's really just the commons where green really, really suffers, because we got a little bit of card quality in those uncommons too, as well as, of course, multiple rares. Augur of Autumn, Tovolar's Huntmaster, and Slogurk, the best of all being Tovolar's Huntmaster by absolute landslide. This card's absolutely absurd and one of the few cards in the set that can get me playing green. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.